Hola Year 7, welcome to lesson 13 of the second summer half term. And today you're looking at este fin de semana, this weekend, and you're going to be bringing together present tense and future tense activities. And here's a list of equipment you will need for today's lesson. You will need the exercise book that the school gave you, a pen, your knowledge organiser from module 6, which is on class charts with a link to it to open it up, and wordreference.com, and here there is a hyperlink to the website which can be opened in a web browser. Pause to get that ready now. Muy bien, Year 7. Okay, please remember to email me if you've got any questions at all about the activities in today's lesson, and here is my email address. Please also remember to upload a photo or a copy of your work onto class charts at the end of the lesson so I can have a check of your work and award you an achievement point. If you can't do it straight after the lesson, please make sure you do it within 2 days to get that achievement point. Gracias, chicos. Copia el título a este fin de semana, this weekend, y la fecha jueves el 16 de julio. Thursday, the 16th of July, and underline those neatly in your book. Then write down the objective, el objetivo, to use the present tense and the immediate future tense together to talk about free time activities. Pause if you need to, and then we'll go on to the do now activity. Okay, for your do now activity, once you've written your date and title and objective, I want you to write down the Spanish in the 5 sentences below and the English. So this should be retrieval practice. So it'd be great if you could try and do it without looking at your book and last lesson, just talking about what you do in different types of weather. So pause to do that now and press play to check your answers. Okay, Year 7, let's check those answers. So, 1, cuando hace calor, voy a la piscina o a la playa. When it's hot, I go to the swimming pool or beach. 2, cuando hace mal tiempo, voy de compras al centro comercial. When it's bad weather, I go shopping at the shopping centre. 3, cuando llueve, hago mis deberes. Is when it's raining or when it rains, I do my homework. 4, cuando nieva, hago esquí. So when it's snowing or it snows, I go skiing. Y finalmente, número 5, cuando hace viento, voy al cine. When it's windy, I go to the cinema. Well done, Year 7. Now carefully check your Spanish and your English are all correct. Then I'm going to pass you on to Miss Clinton to teach the rest of the lesson. And please remember to upload your work to class charts at the end of the lesson and within 2 days so I can have a look at it. Gracias, chicos. Adiós.
So for today's lesson, Year 7, we're going to start off with a sentence builder and we're going to practice some pronunciation first of all. So as always, I've highlighted in red those words or phrases which are foreign sounds, but there are also 1 or 2 which are actually pronounced like English words. However, there are lots of common errors with those words, so I've also highlighted those in red as well. As always, then you're going to need to practice the word after me, saying it aloud. So first one, a menudo. I've highlighted that one in red. No foreign sounds here, but as I mentioned before, lots of mispronunciations of this word. So I wanted to practice that one with you. Next one, a veces. Muy bien. Juego al fútbol. Hago mis deberes. Hago esquí. Voy de compras. Voy al cine. And now we're moving on to our future time phrases, which are a few new words for you today. pero mañana pero en las vacaciones and our future activities. Voy a ir al estadio. Voy a hacer natación. Voy a hacer equitación. Voy a jugar con mi ordenador. Voy So we're going to carry on using the sentence builder here. You're going to listen to the sentence that I say aloud in Spanish. As I'm saying it, you can start to write down the sentence in Spanish in your books. I will repeat the phrase twice, but feel free to pause the video after I've repeated the sentence twice if you need to finish writing. Let's have a go at the first one. Los fines de semana hago esquí, pero mañana voy a hacer equitación. And I'll repeat that one again. So you're writing this down as I'm saying it, remember. Los fines de semana hago esquí, pero mañana voy a hacer equitación. Pause your video now if you need to finish writing the sentence. So you should have written los fines de semana hago esquí, pero mañana voy a hacer equitación. And make sure you've added, year 7, your accents please, on the I there for esquí, and your N of mañana, and finally the O in equitación. Okay, let's try another one. A veces juego al fútbol, pero este fin de semana voy a hacer natación. And I'll repeat that again. A veces juego al fútbol, pero este fin de semana voy a hacer natación. So pause your video if you need to finish writing the sentence. So you should have written, a veces juego al fútbol, pero este fin de semana voy a hacer natación. Muy bien. And one more. Normalmente hago mis deberes, pero en las vacaciones voy a hacer ciclismo. I'll repeat that again. Normalmente hago mis deberes, pero en las vacaciones voy a hacer ciclismo. Pause your video now if you need to finish writing. And you should have written, normalmente hago mis deberes, pero en las vacaciones voy a hacer ciclismo. Okay, still using the sentence builder, we're going to do exactly the same thing, except this time I will say the sentence in English, and you will need to, as before, write it in Spanish. So let's have a go at the first one. I always go shopping, but this weekend I'm going to go to the stadium. So remember, you can be writing as I'm saying this aloud, but you're writing it in Spanish. I'll repeat that once more for you. I always go shopping, but this weekend I'm going to go to the stadium. Pause your video if you need to have more time to write that down in Spanish. And there was your answer there. You should have written in red there, siempre voy de compras, pero este fin de semana voy a ir al estadio. And another one. Often I go to the cinema, but tomorrow I'm going to play on my computer. I'll say that again. Remember, you're writing in Spanish as I'm saying it aloud in English. Often I go to the cinema, but tomorrow I'm going to play on my computer. Pause your video if you need more time to write. And your answer, you should have written in red, a menudo voy al cine, pero mañana voy a jugar en mi ordenador. And the last one, year 7. Every weekend I play football, but in the holidays I'm going to go horse riding. And I'll say that again. Every weekend I play football, but in holidays I'm going to go horse riding. Pause your video if you need a bit more time to finish writing. And as always, your answer's in red. Los fines de semana juego al fútbol, pero en las vacaciones voy a hacer equitación. And please make sure you've added your accents for you or football and your accent on your O for equitación. Muy bien. So we're now going to look at a bit of grammar as always. Listen to the explanation first, then pause your video to copy everything down. So the sentences we've just been looking at are made up of two different tenses. The present tense followed by the immediate future tense. Remember, present tense verbs in the yo or I form are almost always end in an O, and are used to talk about our routine or actions that are happening now. For example, you have hago equitación, I go horse riding, or I am horse riding now. Whilst in the immediate future tense, of course, it's always made up of 3 parts, remember. We saw this in module 5. So it's always the verb ir, which is conjugated into the present tense. In this case, voy, because that means I'm going to, plus a, plus the infinitive. And of course it refers to future actions. So voy a hacer equitación, I'm going to go horse riding in the future, i.e. tomorrow. Time markers also, which are placed before the verbs, help us decide whether the sentence is referring to the present tense or immediate future. So you can see the present time markers there on the left and the future time markers there on the right. Of course, you wouldn't use tomorrow with a present tense verb. Tomorrow I eat pasta. It doesn't make sense. So they also work as a hint to tell us which tense to use for the verb. So pause your video now to copy everything down, please. So let's now put this grammar into practice. Look at the sentences below, and you're going to need to look at the time markers which are highlighted in blue at the beginning of each sentence. I'd then like you to fill in the gaps with the correct verbs, using, of course, the correct tense, either present or immediate future. Use these blue blocks here to help if needed, but try and do it without if possible. Lastly, I'd like you to translate the sentences. So therefore, please write the Spanish and English in full. Let's do the first one together. Normalmente, al fútbol. Normalmente juego al fútbol. Normally, I play football. Here, of course, we know that normally, the time marker, we use in the present tense because we're describing our normal routine, what happens week in, week out. And therefore, I need a present tense verb, so I know that it will end in an O. So, pause your video now to fill in the gaps and translate the sentences. Let's go through your answers then. Number 1 we already did together. Número 2. Los fines de semana hago mis deberes. Every weekend I do my homework. So here, los fines de semana, we know we use to describe what we do every weekend. Not what's happening just this weekend. This happens every single weekend, and therefore we must use the present tense. Número 3. Mañana voy a jugar con mi ordenador. This is a bit more clear cut because tomorrow, the time marker mañana, obviously we must use the future tense. Remember, you needed your 3 parts to form the future tense. Voy plus a has your infinitive. In this case, that's jugar. And of course it means tomorrow. I'm going to play on my computer. Number 4. A menudo voy de compras. Here we looked at the time phrase a menudo, which means often. Again, that's referring to our normal routine. So what happens every week, week in, week out. Therefore, we needed to use the present tense here, voy. And it means, of course, often I go shopping. Make sure you've also included, or just make sure you've got the correct spelling of compras. Often students have a tendency to put the infinitive with an R, comprar, but we want the noun, compras. Número 5. En las vacaciones voy a hacer equitación. Here, we're using the future tense because the time marker is referring to a future holiday. In the holidays, I'm going to go horse riding. Número 6. Este fin de semana voy a ir al estadio. We're talking solely about this weekend, so not what is our normal routine. And because of course this weekend is always in the future, we need to use the future tense. Voy plus a plus our infinitive ir here. This weekend I'm going to go to the stadium. Pause the video now if you need to make any changes. Finally, Year 7, I'd now like you to do some more translations, but this time a bit more tricky. It's English to Spanish. Please write both out in full. So there are your English sentences. Pause your video now to write both the Spanish and the English. So now please check your answers, Year 7, making sure that the first part of each sentence, of course, remember, is in the present tense, with the present tense markers and the present tense verb endings. And then the second half, so after pero, each sentence should be in the future with both the future time markers and the future form of the verb, using voy plus a plus the infinitive. Pause your video now if you need to make any changes. And lastly, Year 7, if you do have any time left to complete your full hour, you can learn box 2 from your grammar knowledge organiser, which is some retrieval practice on the immediate future tense. So that's it from me. I'd like to say a massive thank you to you, Year 7. Only a couple more weeks left of school and you'll be done. So keep up the hard work and have a lovely day. Hasta luego.